There are examples almost every day I see, but what are some of the most egregious forms of this woke capital that you've seen that when the people recognize it, it's like, whoa, I didn't know that was happening?
Well, it's funny that we should have discussed the People's Republic of China because China plays a significant role in a lot of this. The largest corporation in the world, the largest corporation the world has ever known, Apple, is one of the ESG darlings. And it's an ESG darling for two reasons. And the first is because its CEO Tim Cook is a very aggressive social justice warrior in the United States. He discusses social justice. He gives his money to social justice. He uses corporate funds to support social justice projects. He's very involved. And the other reason that Apple is a huge ESG darling is because they claim to be green. All of Apple's corporate entities, all of its corporate business is now officially zero net emissions. So they're very proud of the fact that they're the greenest company in the world. Of course, when you take the trip halfway around the world to the People's Republic of China, you learn a couple of things. You learn, first of all, that Apple would not be where it is without the aid of the Chinese Communist Party. And the Chinese Communist Party would not be as solid as it is now without the help of Apple. The two have worked hand in hand over the last 2 decades to provide what the other needed. The CCP needed good jobs for its large and growing single male population. Apple provided those jobs. Apple needed relatively cheap labor and a place to put together all of these phones. China provided that for them. So over the last 2 decades, Tim Cook has invested heavily in China. With respect to human rights over there, it's fairly well known and famous couple of incidents over the past couple of years where the government in Beijing asked Apple to remove apps that were being used by the rebels in Hong Kong from the App Store because they didn't want the rebels to have access to these apps because it made their rebellion easier. And Apple complied. Additionally, what you find is that Apple's green status is mostly a fake because the overwhelming majority of the energy expended on creating, building, transporting, and selling Apple products is actually done by their contractors who are located in Taiwan and the PRC, and they're in no way, shape, or form green. So it's a major sort of duality here that is a con, more or less, on the ESG investor. The other company that comes to mind right away is BlackRock, which, as I said, is pushing sustainability, but for most of the last 10 or 15 years has also been the largest shareholder of PetroChina, which is the listed arm of the Chinese National Petroleum Company, which not only is, a petroleum company and was at one point in time the largest corporation in the world, but also has had human rights issues.